Hello?
Roy, where are you?
I've forgotten my armband. I'll be there in a sec. Where are you?
In the tunnel. They're coming. I'm scared.
Gary, you have to hold it together. How many people are there? Be precise.
10, 11, I don't know.
He is the weakest link. Take him. They're going to take you.
Well done, Captain Obvious. No, they're leaving. I think they... No! No! No!
My phone!
Let Gary go now. That'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kick you. Good luck. Patrick! I'll see you out there!
And, that's my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. Now, as I said, all I want is best, and if that's a crime, well then I'm guilty. Football's a hard game. You need to help yourself. And I don't think we do sometimes. Far from it. And as I said, I've just come to the end of the road regarding working with certain people, and I've had enough.
On Thursday morning I read that interview and pray that Mick and the lads will never see it.
One of the journalists printed off the article and it was given to Mick. He took it away to peruse it, and I suppose we all know what happened then.
That's when the whole thing blew up.
So that famous evening, I came back from dinner, parked my car over there in the car park, and as I walked into the lobby, I was told that there's a last-minute press conference over in the Chinese room, so I walked over there.
I think I was in my hotel room and I think it was Paul Kimmage knocked in a few doors to say that there was going to be a press conference. We were gathered in the hotel foyer. It wasn't quite clear what was happening. A couple of people, backroom staff, walking around looking a bit shocked.
Press conference.
Called a meeting and asked anybody, certainly Roy, to make his comments.
OK, Roy, you're having trouble with setup. Would you like to get anything off your chest? Like what you told Irish Times?
No, Mick. I already told you Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, right, you did and all, yeah. But you never said you were going running to papers. Won't you tell lads about Dickie Knee, eh? Why you couldn't play second match against the Iranians? 'Cause you had to give it good sunbathing.
How fucking dare you accuse me of that, you bollocks? You were useless as a player, and now you're useless as a manager, you fucking wanker. Ugh. The only reason I have any dealings with you is that somehow you're the manager of my country. You're not even Irish, you English cunt. You can stick your World Cup up your bollocks.
His comments, rationally and logically, and that didn't happen. I'm afraid that turned into a bit of a slangy match, and I'm afraid I will not tolerate, not being spoken to like that, but the level of abuse that was thrown at me. So I have sent him home.
I've never witnessed anything like that in my life. And there is a line, you can't cross it, and unfortunately Roy has crossed it.
I think it probably seemed like an ambush to Roy Keane. The team went into this little room behind the restaurant in the hotel. Roy would have been, for want of another word, confronted with the Irish Times article. And I think as a captain and a senior player, he reacted badly to the prospect of having to explain himself in front of other players and the staff associated with the team. We seemed to go from 0 to 60 pretty quickly in terms of people abusing each other, and while Roy might have viewed it as an ambush, he seems to have had the element of surprise on his side in terms of the vehemence he attacked Mick McCarthy with, and he seems to have had the floor to himself for a good 5 to 6 minutes anyway.
During the ride to the airport, there was pretty much silence. The press was waiting out here. I went to open the door for Roy.
But before he could check in, Roy was snared by BBC Northern Ireland's Stephen Watson.
Can you give us any insight into what happened last night?
No.
Can you even tell us how you're feeling at the moment?
Feel very good. Clear conscience. And I'm happy to be going home. Happy to go and see my family.
Any regrets at all?
No regrets.
Not even about playing in the World Cup?
There's more important things to worry about.
So what's your plans from here?
Get my flight.
Back at his home in Cheshire this evening, Keane was thrown out of the squad after a row with the team manager, Mick McCarthy.
And I remember after he came home and he went into the house and the gate shut, we were all waiting there wondering what's going to happen next. And to my dying day, I'll never forget when he strode out with the dog. It was wow.
Can we have a word with you?
What's the name of the dog, right? What do you call the dog?
That was Keane at his most defiant. That was Keane making his statement that I might be in the middle of a media scrum, the whole bloody place might be talking about me, but this is who I am, regardless.
Mr. Keane, how does it feel to be back home? Are you tired after the journey? Will you be commenting on any of the allegations in the Sunday newspapers tomorrow? Do you have any regrets at all?
I'm not really here to get anybody on my side. I think it's important that people know the truth. The final straw was when I was accused of being disloyal, faking injury and going against my teammates in front of everybody, and I wouldn't accept it.
I can't affect the way people have supported either party. I do think to be able to walk into a TV studio and do a one-on-one and give your opinion and impressions of what happened is a lot easier than facing a media conference 15-20 minutes after an incident, an hour after, or coming in here last night when people were on the hunt.
The press managed to doorstep Mick early that morning, and he seemed to offer some kind of an olive branch, with the line sure to please team sponsors Aircom.
The call needs to come, doesn't it?
Just a short while later, FAI press officer Brendan McKenna convened his own impromptu conference for the assembled press.
And this is from the players. This is the players' statement. It reads, regrettably, the manner of Roy's behaviour prior to his departure from Saipan and the comments attributed to him since have left the staff and players in no doubt that the interests of the squad are best served without Roy's presence.
After going to such lengths to underline his authority, Mick seems now to have abdicated power of squad selection to a smattering of senior players. The press, predictably, switch into overdrive.
Who's running the show out there? The players?
This player's statement this morning was an incredible development because just as the door opened for Roy to come back, the players have slammed it shut in his face.
Niall Quinn is just going into the press conference now. We weren't expecting him, but as a senior pro, it's very interesting that he should be here for this press conference.
Niall Quinn is speaking on behalf of the players in response to the statement that was issued on their behalf, and he's close to tears. He's hugely...
Unfortunately, the statement was released to you today very early for a reason we don't know how yet, when, why. That it came out way too soon. It was to follow Mick's press conference, and it would sit far easier after Mick's press conference than it does now.
Not pleased when he read the transcript of Roy's TV interview. The plan, or so the players thought, was that Mick would give a press conference saying that Roy could stay at home and that was final. Then their statement would be released after that to back him up.
At 10:30, Mick called a meeting. In that meeting, of which Mick will speak in greater detail about later, Mick effectively ended any chance of Roy Keane appearing at the World Cup finals. He left the meeting and asked us to have a chat among ourselves and see how we felt about it. And we were left with no alternative. All 22 of us voted unanimously to back him.
Asked if Mick had given them a Roy or me ultimatum, he replied,
I think it's really up to Mick to give you the exact details, but you wouldn't be too far away.
Muppets. It's the only way I can describe them. To sit there and to say what they said about me. Hypocrites, you know, these lads. Cowards. Cowards sums them up, and I mean that. I will not go back on that.
The next day, the Irish squad left Saipan and headed for their next base, Izumo in Japan. Their former captain was on an opposite course, isolated and alone.
I think the team left Saipan and in a state of shock and continued to be that way. This is a guy who got an honorary doctorate in his hometown 2 weeks beforehand, who'd almost dragged the team on his back through the qualifying process. And here they were getting to the business end of the World Cup, and he was on his way home. And it started to dawn on people that, there was no Roy Keane.
So the Republic of Ireland prepare for their opening World Cup game against Cameroon in 8 days' time without their inspirational captain.
Mr. Keane, how does it feel to be back home? Are you tired after the journey?
What's the name of the dog, Roy? What do you call the dog?
It attracted media interest of an unprecedented nature, and it was on the level of the death of Princess Diana or September the 11th in terms of newsworthiness. People's reaction to it was not unanimous as it was in the case of Princess Diana or September the 11th. In fact, people took sides. But what's interesting psychologically is that people made up their minds depending upon their allegiance, and in a sense they saw what happened when they believed it, not the other way around. So in other words, if you were a Roy Keane fan, everything that he did made sense and was justifiable. If you were a McCarthy fan, similarly. But the irony was, nobody knew the full facts. But that didn't stop us from taking sides and drawing conclusions.
Come back, Roy Keane.
There was a tremendous human interest aspect to it all. And that brought in people who had no knowledge whatsoever about football were suddenly taking sides about McCarthy versus Keane because they could identify with the type of people portrayed on the screen. Two strong, forceful people, neither of whom would back down.